And we're live. Welcome everybody to the Entrepreneur Dojo. I'm Dave Espino. This is James Renouf. And today we're going to talk about something that I don't know if very many people know about this. It's a very cool, unique strategy that I discovered myself. I call it deep Googling. Okay. And so before I get to the actual strategy and show you how that works and how I made quite a bit of money with it, I wanted to share with you how I came about this strategy. How did I even come up with this idea, okay, of deep Googling? Like I said, I don't know if anybody knows this, so this is really kind of one of my first times really debuting this out there, but here's the story, okay? Here's what happened. I used to go hunting at swap meets and flea markets. That's my thing. That's where I feel at home. Flea markets and swap meets are like my Disneyland, okay? So because I grew up selling there, so I feel very comfortable there. Just like if you grew up playing baseball, you'd feel very comfortable on a baseball mound or in a baseball park. I don't feel comfortable there. I feel comfortable buying and selling stuff, right? So I'm at the flea market and I see that these people have boxes of these fitness DVD sets, okay? And the particular fitness DVD set was something like, gosh, I don't remember. It's been a while. It's something like Power 90 or something like that.
Like P90X?
It was kind of like P90X, but it was like an off-brand, but it was sold on TV, and they sold a bunch of it on TV. And so here's the thing about like some of the things that I know. I already knew ahead of time that fitness DVD sets sell really well on eBay, and they sell for really good money. So I bought a few for $5 each. Okay. Then I started flipping them on eBay for 50 and 80 bucks, depending on what they ended up at. So I would sell them on an auction. Sometimes I would sell for 50 bucks, 60 bucks, 70 bucks, 80 bucks. I think the most I ever sold was like $89. Okay. But I paid $5. So that's the
Right.
kind of profit I like to make on eBay, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm over here selling these things, buying these things, and then I would go to the flea market just looking strictly for these fitness DVDs. Well, the way that these people got them was by buying pallets of merchandise. They'd buy pallets of closeout merchandise from these sources, basically the secondary market for merchandise. And in some of these pallets, they'd have a box full of them. And so sometimes I'd be like carrying a whole box of maybe 30 of them, and paying $5 or $6 each. And I'd take them home and I'd flip them and I'd just sell them like fast, super fast. So sometimes I would sell them at fixed price. Sometimes I would sell them in an auction. I got more if I sold them in an auction. Well, I noticed as I was doing my research that I'm selling these things like crazy. They're selling like hotcakes. I noticed that somebody had just the bonus DVD that came originally with that set. And just the bonus DVD was selling for 13 to 15 bucks. And I was like, this person has supposedly like 1,000 of these. And they're
Bonus
selling
DVDs.
these like crazy. And I'm like, I wonder if I could find those somewhere on the internet. Like, wonder if I could find their source.
Their source. Okay.
Yep. So I start Googling and
Deep Googling.
Deep. Well, I didn't know I was deep Googling yet.
Oh, okay.
I was just surface Googling. Right? So I'm Googling and I'm on page 1. I don't find it. Page 2, page 3, page 4. Somewhere around page 5 or 6, I found that some company had sold these, but they were sold out. And they were selling them for like $3. And I'm like, wow, if I could buy them for $3 and sell them for 15, that would be nice.
Right.
And so here's what happened. So I continue on page 6, page 7, page 10. I think I was somewhere around page 14 or 15. I found a company that was like a closeout website, closeout dealer, and they were selling these and they had them in stock and they had like 900 of them. And so I go on there and I order one for myself, right? Just because they're $3. And $3, by the way, shipping included.
Wow.
Okay. So I'm like, okay, let me order, see what happens. When I ordered it, I noticed that they had the gift option. And I'm like,
Like a drop ship.
oh, snap. Yeah. So now what I can do is I can list as many as I want on eBay, right? And I did. I listed like 100 or maybe 500. And people start buying them from me for 15 bucks. I get 15 bucks in my PayPal. I go over to this website and I type it in and I make it a gift to them.
Wow.
And now that company is shipping that $15 DVD and I just made, 12 bucks.
That's awesome.
And I literally made 12 bucks for just like filling out an order. I didn't have to ship. I didn't have to do any of it. And that was as a result of deep Googling. That was as a result of, number one, finding a hot product and then researching deep to see, hey, is there anybody out there that, because there's a lot of these little websites out there, James,
Yeah.
they're like, there's a lot of these little websites and they are in the business of selling merchandise, but they don't list their stuff on eBay or Amazon or whatever.
Why?
I was also
Why do you
selling
think?
these on Amazon too, by the way.
Well, why wouldn't they sell it? Why wouldn't they sell it for 15 on?
They don't even know. They didn't even know, I don't think, that these were selling for 15 bucks on eBay.
Right.
They just weren't aware. So the idea is this is arbitrage. Arbitraging, I call it knowledge arbitrage. I happen to know something that this company didn't know, and I happen to know something that these buyers didn't know. And because I have the knowledge to find that product in a unique way that nobody knows about, I can go over here and sell it to these people for 15 bucks and they gladly pay it and they love it. And I'm in the middle making 12 bucks.
Well, that first company might have been getting it like another situation like a pallet or whatever. They might have been getting it for $1. So they're happy to sell it for $3 because they're making profit. I mean, who knows?
Totally. In fact, if I remember correctly, I communicated with them and I said, hey, can I buy these wholesale from you? Can I buy these for, like less than $3?
Right.
And they weren't willing to do that. I forget the reason why, but they actually, okay, now that I remember correctly, I actually negotiated a better price because I was buying so many of them. And I had a special link for my own, with a special discounted price. So I was able to get them for $3.
Well, I'll tell you about something that kind of similar. We were doing it tonight. So we've been talking about eBay a lot lately, but I've been telling you my son's been selling things on eBay. And we bought these like little dolls, and we bought 200 of these dolls, and for $40. And they have these little codes with it, and some people like these codes. And we cut open 200 little of these doll packages just for these codes tonight, myself and my two sons, to put them on. So it's just interesting. And the funny thing is, we actually sourced it from eBay. We bought it from eBay, and now we're going to sell it for higher on eBay because the person that sold the original one doesn't realize how much these codes are worth. Like, in other words, specifically to what you're saying, like a knowledge arbitrage. And my son's kind of like, well, why would he not sell it for higher? It's funny. We had this conversation today, and he said, why would he sell it for higher? And I'm like, I don't know. I said, that's his problem. I mean, I don't know, or it's just like, I've seen these kind of memes on the internet. You see somebody sells like a pineapple and they sell the pineapple for $2. Well, someone else takes that pineapple and cuts it up and sells it for $3. And someone else takes that and puts it into pina colada and sells that for $5. That's what entrepreneurship is, just adding more and more value. And that's what you're doing. You were dealing with people in a different source that were willing to pay more. And so, okay. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Deep Googling though. Did you come up with that term?
I came up with that term. Yeah.
Yeah. Deep Googling. I like it.
Yeah. Because in fact, I was just uploading a course that shows 30 different ways to source products for eBay and Amazon, 30 different ways to find high profit products. And that was one of the ways that I taught in the course. And I'm like, when I was coming up with the name for it, I was like, I got to come up with a cool name for this, because this is I don't think anybody has like figured this out, because
most people aren't willing to go past page 1, honestly.
Right. Because
there's
of the
a reason why there's 1,000 pages.
Yeah, because of the unique way that I discovered it, like I just explained the story. I mean, there were several things that had to happen, and I was just being curious and going like, I wonder, because I found that one site, and they were sold out, and I'm like, there's got to be other sites like this that maybe aren't sold out. And sure enough, I found it, you know.
That's
But
crazy.
it's a strategy, and it's one of lots of strategies. As I was going through this 30 strategy course, I'm like, dang, there's a lot of good ways that I've figured out to, you know, to find things that you can sell for high profits. The big mistake people make on eBay and Amazon is they think they can just sell a product with a 20% profit margin and make money, and they can't. You can't do that. That's why a lot of people bomb with selling on eBay or Amazon, is they don't take the math into equation. They
Yeah,
don't take the math into consideration to
those
go,
fees.
yeah, I need a high profit. And I pretty much just devoted my business to finding, you know, if I don't make 10 times what I invested, I'm not, you know, I'm not satisfied.
And that's
And
crazy. I mean,
yeah,
but that's if that's what you're looking for. I mean, obviously it's harder to fail when you have that kind of profit margin, you know. It's crazy to me how, like, you know, grocery stores, they do such business, but they have such small profit margins, like 3% and things like that. And like, how did they do it? You know, it's way
yeah,
above my head, but there's opportunities. And there's so I've had a friend of mine talk to me about ecom, and he said, you know, really all it takes is one product. If you can find that one product and just go with it, you know, and
yep.
where so many other people that are trying to sell 100 different products and this and that, go deep with it. Google deep.
That's the main difference with me, is because I got started selling these little toy cars, and I would at least double my money every time I bought a whole Hot Wheels collection of 50 cars, keep the ones I wanted, sell the rest for at least double. That's kind of standard in the collectibles world. You want to at least double your money. And I wasn't happy with anything less than that. And so when I went out to flea markets, I started getting really good, because I've done it for so many years, good at knowing exactly what sells for how much. And for example, like there's there's a whole market in outdated electronics or outdated electronic cords, remotes, things like that, that where you can make some significant profits for with, you know, I'm probably not explaining it very well, but significant profits with things like that. Or just for me, it was all about knowing what I could sell for a lot more, and then actually negotiating it down.
Mm.
Because to the people at the flea markets, this is just junk. They're going to leave. They're going to leave the flea market and take it home with them, and they don't want to do that. So negotiating it down, selling it for more on a different marketplace. So I teach like different kinds of arbitrage, knowledge arbitrage, like we just talked about, but then there's geographic arbitrage. So when I go to the flea market, you know, like nobody wants to buy these DVD sets. So these people at the flea market are looking at, man, I could either sell them all to this guy for super cheap right now and get my cash and turn it again, or I could try to piece these out once in a while, maybe sell a few here and there. And so the geographic location of selling these DVDs at the flea market is horrible, but I take it from this geographic location, put it on eBay where I know they're hot, and that's the arbitrage. That's the difference. So
Or
yeah,
here's another example. Like my son, he wanted to get. He saw it on TikTok. There was these little, like, basic, like, plastic. I don't know how to explain it, but these like little plastic balls filled with basically sugar water. And he saw it on TikTok, and all these people were biting into it, and oh, these are the most amazing things. And this bag was $1 at the dollar store, but you can't find them anywhere because people are getting it and then they're hoarding it and selling it on eBay. What did we do? We bought this $1 bag of things for 15 bucks roughly on eBay because he
yep,
wanted to try this viral thing. And sure enough, there's people somewhere, they realize that they're getting inventory in the dollar store and they're going buying 10 bags and then they're selling it on eBay. You know, that
yep,
whole kind of notion of retail arbitrage, and it happens at Christmas time. I mean, there's usually one hot item that you can't find, and they specifically limit the amount of items that are available for that reason, and people
yep.
flip this stuff.
That's been pretty much my whole, let's call it career on eBay, is what are the hot in demand items, and how can I find them, and how can I flip them? That's pretty much been my whole MO on eBay. Like most people, when they get into e-commerce, what I would call the real e-commerce sellers. They're going for high volume, but they're not really looking at high profit. They're looking at, in order to do high volume, you have to have, you almost have to have low profit margins. It's just the nature of the beast. So I went the opposite way. I want to sell fewer items, but make big profits each time I sell something. And that's pretty much been my way of doing eBay, which is kind of different because it's not, you're not going to build a, $500,000 a year business doing that unless you really focus in on that, on the one niche, like me with collectibles, which I'm actually very seriously doing now. But but you'll work less and you'll make more per hour, so to
And there's
speak.
more room for error. I mean,
Yeah,
there's just more room to maneuver.
definitely. And that's one of the reasons I got into buying and selling cars, because you buy and sell a car, you make $2,000, $5,000 on a deal. Yeah, I could do that, do a couple of those deals and be happy and not have to sell, 500 items.
Right.
So, and especially the shipping. I guess that's probably what led me to be more focused on the high profit stuff. Was I hated shipping. I hated packing stuff up and shipping it. And especially in the old days, James, when we couldn't print the labels from home. We had to go to the post office. And it would take me 40 minutes to an hour
Wow.
to bring all my boxes there. And even though I had pre-labeled the addresses, but they were still having to manually affix the postage on all these boxes. I'd
Did
go
they
with
hate you? Did they hate you at the post office?
the people behind me in line hated me. Like, oh man, there's that guy again. And I would have these big garbage bags full of boxes and bring it into the post office once a week. Once a week was like my shipping day.
It's like, here comes Dave again. Oh my God.
Yeah, I hated it. And I, like, as soon as I could, as soon as I got fairly big, I had people help me with that stuff because that was like the pain. And that's why, by the way, digital products appeal to me so much. That's why I love information products, because I'm like, wow, no shipping? Are you kidding me? You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like my wife, she sells stuff. She sells this kind of fitness stuff, these fitness drinks, and she actually can print her labels from the computer now, which is cool. So we just
Yeah.
send it from her house. Um, but but yeah, digital products, man, not having to deal with and that's another thing too with drop shipping that's so cool if you can get drop shipping to work, like you mentioned earlier.
Yep.
That's another cool premise. But the problem with drop shipping sometimes is that if you're getting your products from China now, you have a long lag time, especially with how COVID is these days. Um, if you can get it in, assuming you're in the USA or whatever country, if you can get it in your respective country, that makes it easier. But yeah, that high profit margin, when you're saying 10 times, it's funny. I had a former boss years ago. He said when he read a book, this guy was a multi millionaire, and he said when he looked for investments for stocks, he looked for what he called 10 bangers. Like if he didn't think this thing was going to 10x, he didn't invest in it. Like he
Yep.
really thought this thing is like a sure thing, or he's not. Whereas a lot of people with investing is like, I don't know, I guess I'll buy this stock because I think it's, they don't really have any plan, but he for whatever reason would think this was going to 10x.
Yeah.
However he thought that. So yeah,
I'll,
when you
I'll tell
think,
you, one of my funnest things that I found at a flea market was a very rare Jay Abraham. Those of us that are in the direct marketing world, we know who Jay Abraham is. He's one of like the old school gurus, kind of up there with Dan Kennedy and these people. But a very rare Jay Abraham DVD set, DVD or CDs. It might have been CDs. It was a box set, and it said something like Maui or Thailand or something. So it was basically a seminar that he had done, like a 3-day seminar in an exotic location, and it was just like an unheard of product. I guess you only had it as if you attended there, if you attended the actual 3-day thing. Anyway, I researched everywhere. I could not find any kind of pricing on it. And so I listed it on an auction, and it sold for a little over $600.
wow,
And I paid $12 for this thing. Paid
unreal.
$12 at the flea market. Why? because the guy doesn't know this is Jay Abraham. He doesn't know who Jay Abraham is. He bought this stuff in a storage auction, and he's putting this stuff out there, and he's like, well, DVD set, $12. And, all his DVDs are $1 or $2, right? And this one, because it's a set, oh, I'll sell for $12. Okay, boom. Listed in an auction, sold for over $600. And I'm just like, this is amazing.
That's crazy. A friend of mine, his dad knows a lot about watches. He went to a flea market years ago and he saw this watch and he's like, is this what I think it is? And it was a first run Omega watch. And he opened it up. It wasn't working. And there was apparently a hair inside the watch somehow. He took the hair out. The thing started working and he sold it in an auction for like $10K.
Wow.
But he found it at a flea market.
Yep. Pretty amazing. So that's one of the things I would always look for at the flea markets was anything that was business. Tony Robbins, Dan Kennedy, Jay Abraham, Bob Proctor, anything that was personal development. Tony Robbins stuff sold really well. So every time I found it, I'd buy it and I'd flip it really quick. That kind of thing worked really well. But I pretty much have a whole mental list, what we call BOLO, be on the lookout list for all the things that you need to be looking for. And as soon as I see it, I snap it up, flip it, and it's just the easiest money. So
nice.
Yeah, but
that's awesome. I like that deep Googling. I'm going to steal that term. I'm going to pretend that I came up with that.
All right, no problem. Just pay me a royalty and we'll be good. But yeah, that was just one of the strategies. And I'm like, dang, this course is really good. I have 30 different ways, like talking about government auctions, storage auctions, all these things I've done or been to, different ways to source merchandise. There is huge opportunity in the secondary market. People just don't know the different ways that you can do it.
Well, you piqued my interest in the whole pallet, and I've heard of that before, like people buying pallets of stuff. Friend of mine bought a pallet of these air horns, like basically people putting these, I don't know if they're train horns or what, but putting these big horns on their cars to basically just not obnoxious. And these horns will sell for $100.
Wow.
He got them for like, $10, $20 or whatever, again. And just, he has a website and puts them out, but he knows, okay, if I get these for 10 cents on the dollar, might take me a little while to recoup my money, but hey, when you're playing with these kind of numbers, like you said before, 10x,
yep,
it's hard to lose. You're certainly putting those numbers in your favor.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, and we spoke a little bit about drop shipping. Maybe on another episode, I'll talk about my ultimate drop shipping strategy and how I discovered that. Cool. Because the way that most people do traditional drop shipping sucks. It's horrible.
All right, I look forward to that.
Yeah, there's so many negatives to the way most people do it. So I found a much better way, and so yeah, I'd like to share that at some point too. So I think we've hit the end of this one, James. That was a good teaching on deep Googling.
Yeah, very good.
Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow or the next day or the next day. But if you like this episode, if you like this content, if you like learning from the OGs of internet marketing, then hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you know that we're on and we're on live.
And leave a like, leave comments. We're seeing those likes. We're seeing those views starting to come. So we're seeing our channel grow, but we'd love to hear from you. So your viewing is awesome, but let people know about it. Give your comments, tell us your feedback. We really want to hear about it. So thank you.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, have a good evening. We'll see you.
See ya.